In this lesson, you will learn how to find the percent change of two numbers. Sometimes percent change is asked for the percent increase or the percent decrease. So if two numbers are given and the question asks you to find the percent change, the percent increase, or the percent decrease, the formula is change over original equals x over 100. And your goal is to find x. So let's go to an example and look at how to use the formula. In number 1, Kendall scored a 640 on her SATs in May and then a 730 in October. The first thing I want to find is the change, and the change is the difference between her two SAT scores. So you want to take 730 minus 640. You always want the change to be positive, so just start with the higher SAT score. And when you subtract, you get a change of 90. Next, you want to find the original. Here's where most students will make a mistake. The next thing you want to find is the original. And the original is the SAT score that she scored first. And the wording of the question tells us that it was a 640. So her original score was 640. The most common mistake when finding percent change or percent increase and decrease is that when students see percent increase, they assume that we're dividing by the higher number, which is not true. You want the original number. So if I follow the formula of change over original, that would be 90 over 640 equals x over 100. The zeros cancel so that I have 9 over 64 equals x over 100. And now I just cross multiply and solve for x. So 64 times x is 64x. 9 times 100 is 900. I divide both sides by 64. And if I divide 64 into 900, I'll add a 0 so that I have 40, and then add another 0 so that I have 400. And if I take 6 times 64, I have 384. And I'll stop here with a remainder of 16 and say that x is equal to 14.06. I'll round this to the nearest tenth of 14.1, and I want to express my answer as a percentage. So the percent increase was 14.1. So she scored 14.1% higher when she took the SATs in October. In number 2, the price of a phone decreased by $50. So if our formula is change over original equals x over 100, the first thing we want to do is find the change. And $50 is our change because the cost decreased by 50. So if it originally cost $225, then we know that the new price is $175, but we don't really need that number. But what we do want is the original. And the original is 225. So we're actually given everything we need for our formula. Change over original equals x over 100. and you can cross multiply, but if you notice that 50 and 225 are both divisible by 2, you can cross multiply using 2 over 9 instead. Starting with the diagonal that has the variable, 9x equals 2 times 100 is 200. I divide both sides by 9, and I divide 200 by 9 on the side, and I'll round to the nearest tenth again. So it looks like I'm getting 2 again, so this decimal is going to keep repeating as 22.2 repeating. So I'm finding the percent discount, so x is equal to 22.2%. So always answer your number as a percent, and because we're using x over 100, we don't have to move our decimal over 2 places to the left. So for number 3, the temperature rose from 86 degrees to 98 degrees. So first we want to find the change. And when you find the change, you just subtract the two numbers, starting with the highest, because you want your change to be positive. So 98 minus 86 is 12. So we have a 12-degree change in temperature. The original temperature is the temperature that came first, and based on the wording of this problem, it went from 86 to 98, so 86 degrees is our original temperature. So I take the formula change over original, 12 over 86 equals x over 100. And our answer will be as a percentage. So I start by cross multiplying, and I get 86x equals 1200. I divide both sides by 86, and I show the work on the side. And for all of the examples in this lesson, I will round to the nearest tenth. And I'll add a 0. 86 into 820. 86 times 9 is equal to 774. Bring down one more 0, and this will be the last time. 5 times 86 gives me 430 with a remainder of 30. So if 13.95 is the answer that I get to division, if I round this to the nearest tenth, the 5 will increase a 9 to 0, and then the 3 to a 4. So x is equal to 14.0%. In number 4, Angela can swim 4 laps in 6 minutes. So let's say 4 laps in 6 minutes. If she beats her time by 20 seconds, so if she beats her time by 20 seconds, that means that she's now swimming for 5 minutes and 40 seconds. By what percent did she improve? So we want the change, and the change was given in the problem. The change is just 20 seconds. So we don't have to subtract 6 minutes and 5 minutes and 40 seconds. We already know that the change is 20. But the original that we want is what we're comparing 5 minutes and 40 seconds to, which is 6 minutes. Now the problem with this question is that we have two different units. We have 20 seconds and 6 minutes. So instead of writing 20 seconds as a fraction, let's write 6 minutes in terms of seconds, and since we have 60 seconds in a minute, 6 times 60 is equal to 360 seconds. You always want the units to be the same when you use the formula, so change over original is 20 over 360 equals x over 100. And before I cross multiply, I'll cancel the zeros, and then 2 and 36 reduce to 1 and 18. So I have 1 over 18 equals x over 100. Now I'm ready to cross multiply. I get 18x. 1 times 100 is 100. And I divide both sides by 18. And if I show that on the side, (18) times 5 is equal to 90. And if I add a 0, I'm back to 100, so I'm going to keep getting 5. So I have 5.55, and since I'm rounding to the nearest tenth, we have 5.6%. So her swim time improved by 5.6% when we compare it to her original time of 6 minutes. In 1990, the population of a town was 125,000. In 2010, the population is 142,000. So when we find the change in population, we want the larger population first, 142,000 minus 125,000. Which is 17,000. And when we find the original, we want the population that came first. And the population that came first was in the year 1990. So the original is 125,000. So these numbers are much larger, but you'll get a lot of zeros to cancel. So when we take the change of 17,000 over the original of 125,000, set it equal to x over 100. The 3 zeros cancel in the numerator and denominator, so we're down to 17 over 125 equals x over 100. And now we're ready to cross multiply. So we get 125x, and then 17 times 100 is 1700. Divide both sides by 125. And on the side, I take 125, divide it into 1700. And when I bring down the 0, I get 750, and 6 times 125 is 750. So this one divides in evenly, so we can stop here. And x is equal to 13.6%. So there was a 13.6% increase in population from 1990 to the year 2010.